And then we ended up sharing a kiss at the bar. He went home and broke up with Natalie after that, and then continued to pursue me for a few months. And I was just really not having it. Um, I was like, there's no way I can get past this. But he was very persistent, like always. And then I was going to Bali for a month, and I'm very independent, but it was a 30-hour flight, and I was nervous to go. I was doing yoga teacher training there. And so he offered to come with me, and I let him come with to just take me there. So he came for a few days and then flew back. So I was there for a full month. And while I was there, he flew back to my parents in Illinois.
What's up, everybody? It's Mark Walberg. Welcome to Bonfire Talks. It's been a minute. I'm so glad to be back. I have a guest that's like you are going to be so happy about. I know I'm happy about. But before we do that, I want to just take a moment and say that, Temptation Island Netflix dropped. And I just want to thank you. Those of you who have reached out and the messages that I've gotten. I thought the show looked terrific. I thought... the producers did their job, but I just want to take a second and say to you guys, all the love that I received, I'm really, really, really grateful. It's a crazy TV show, but as I've said here before, and I'll say it again, it's real for me. And I care about the people on it more than is healthy. You know who else I care about is Kaylin, my producer. Hi, Kaylin.
Hi,
you like that segue, buddy?
Yeah, it's nice to see you again, Mark.
Nice to see you too, pal. I want to get right into it so I don't waste any time. The main reason shows like these are successful is they got to have a cast that we care about. And I'm grateful to have on the show today Ashley Moore, who is one of the main reasons the show is successful. You really brought it. People really responded to you. Hi, Ash.
Hello. How are we doing?
I'm good. I was saying right before we went live that I'm so happy to see you, but I realized seeing me could be very triggering.
I know. I had so much anxiety going into this. And I'm like, I don't know why this isn't a bad thing yet.
Yeah, I feel that's one of the things I hate the most about it is that I don't really get a chance to bond with you guys at all, like very little. And then you guys walk in this bonfire, which is absolutely like the den of hell. And I'm there kind of trying to talk you through it. And I'm like for real, it's all love. But from your end, you must be overwhelmed. What's that experience like?
I think it was really hard to sit there and try to process what we were all seeing, and then to kind of have a therapy session right after. It was just I don't even know what I just saw. I don't even know what I'm saying out loud. I don't know how I feel. So it was all it was just insane.
And then when you watch it, it's it goes, clip, reaction. I say something like whatever, and then we're moving on. But let the people know it's a lot longer than that.
Oh, it's a lot longer.
Yeah.
For all the clips we did see, but it was a lot longer going through our therapy session afterwards. But I think they did a good job.
I kind of hate that.
Both ends, chopping it up to
yeah.
Was
do you have the same reaction I have as when they chop it up? I'm like, yeah, but I mean, there was so much more. I mean, that's not exactly it. Yeah, that's hard for me. So
not mad about it. No.
I want to get into update stuff because that's what everybody wants to hear. And I know you've dropped a lot of this on your social and on other people's podcasts, and you're blushing just thinking about it. But before that, I want to talk to you, my friend, and see if this experience, look, I'm the one buying what I'm selling, and I always say the show's crazy. But I hope that people leave the island in a better place than when they came. And I hope that there's something they learn about themselves that if the relationship they're in crashes and burns or whatever, that the next time they're at bat, it's elevated. So am I full of shit, or was there any of that true for you?
Leaving the show, I felt like you were full of shit at first.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what did I just do? This was the most traumatic experience of my life. But I knew at some point it would like turn around. Obviously, everything's out there, but for me, in my experience, I think it was more like I knew I was in a very toxic situation, and I would have never gotten out of it if it wasn't for the show. Even when we're back, but like we're out of it now. So
yeah, we'll talk about that. I mean, we'll do the cliff notes of that, because if people haven't seen it somewhere else, I want to. Plus, I don't really know. I haven't read everything, but you struck me emotionally more than you probably know, and I've talked about it on another podcast because I'm wicked famous right now. But
everyone wants you to host literally every show now.
Yeah, my phone's not ringing, but it's really nice that they say that. This is the show I'm hosting right now. But here's why you struck me, and you really got me in the feels. You were, when we first started the show, and this is not a slam, but you seemed to be the most resistant. Like, you got there and you're like, what the fuck have I done? I don't want to be here. I think that's fair to say, right? And so
I think immediately once we were separated, I knew my relationship was over. Like, I just...
So I've told this story, and you can tell me if it's accurate or not. But like when we went into that bonfire, not the first one, but the one where you see Grant kind of doing his thing, producers are like, she's going to bolt. She's going to leave the show.
Oh, I fully was telling all the producers, I was like, if I see what I think I'm about to see, I'm like sprinting into that ocean. I'm gone. Like, I'm so done.
And now that's been done by Montoya in Spain.
He stole the show.
Yeah, you'd have been just huge. But, you know, I kind of got a little wind of you wanting to go home and stuff earlier. And my take on it was, if she wants to go home, let her go home. But in the end, I don't think that she will, because she'll want to tell her side of the story. Here's the part that got me in the feels. Everybody's freaking out that when you see this, you're going to crumble. And I'm like, that girl's not going to crumble. That girl is strong as an ox. And what you said, I think people could relate to, and this is why it's hell for you guys on the show, but it matters to other people watching sometimes, is that you saw the clip, and you looked at me with the first smile I saw from you. It wasn't a happy smile, but it was, your face showed some emotion. And you said, I'm relieved.
Yeah.
And so here's what I felt out of that. I felt like it's when you've had this story in your head of who somebody is, but you want to believe it's something else and everybody's telling you it's something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as painful as it is, your belief is confirmed.
Yeah. I just felt validated. I feel like I was trying to believe this story so hard, and it just was not what it really was. And so when I finally saw it, I was like, okay, well, this is what I always thought the whole time. So here we are. I think
it's almost like when you've been gaslit and then you're proven that you're not crazy.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say to you that moment, I know it's just TV or whatever, but it really landed for me, really hit me, because I talk about this like in this book I'm writing and will never finish, because that's who I am. Mm-hmm. But I talk about all the time is that in my career, in my life, there have been times when I live in what I call the gap. I'm living as though this is the truth, but all evidence is it isn't. And then there's what is actually true. And every time I find myself there and I let go of what I wish was, and then start living in what the fuck actually is, rather than it being a letdown or scary, it's relief. It's your truth. So thanks for that moment for me.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, watching it all back and seeing everyone's reaction, I cannot believe how many people have reached out and like relate to the story, but also like, it feels good to know I can help people and like show people that you can get out of these situations and your feelings are validated.
And then as I read what I read, and I want you to kind of give me the cliff notes on this, on what happened after the island, even that, as messy as that is how life goes. And that's what we arm ourselves with. And that's what I try to talk about at the bonfire, is that, like, look, there are no rules in relationship. Your feelings are true, and your behavior is often, you know, not particularly the shortest route to happiness, but necessary. So you come off the island, you say you're leaving with Danny, who, can I just tell you, my wife and I too, were like, he's the cutest. We love him. He's the sweetest guy on the planet. Do you agree?
I agree. We love Danny.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So you left with Danny. So briefly, how long, what went down with that?
I think afterwards we were still talking for a few weeks. And then I think 2-3 weeks after the show, I was going to Europe with my girlfriends and just kind of fizzled out then. He started working full time and was just traveling, doing things. And we stayed in contact, but I think the point of where our lives were at, it just didn't really make sense.
Yeah, I get that. You know, I kind of, when people say I'm leaving with my new love, you know, at the very beginning when I asked everybody what their rules are, and I kind of chuckle at that, I also realize that there's a process, there's this thing, and you leave with somebody, and you know, it's not like it hasn't worked in the past, but reality hits and things change. But I think he served you.
I do too.
And I hope your friendship lasts.
Yes.
And with Logan, the most beautiful man on the planet.
We love all of them. Still obsessed with the two of them. So
yeah, you posted a lot of funny stuff about having two boyfriends, and I just like that in the chaos and pain and all that stuff that you found two allies that brought your giggle back, you know?
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people be like, why would you send Eric home? I feel like he was more mature and he would have like shown you XYZ. And I was like, I just needed the like soft love from these boys that it was just like fun and easy, and it was just great.
I thought you made great choices there. So, all right, so you and Danny kind of fizzle out, kind of see that coming. You live far apart anyway. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And then let me see if I can get this straight, that like all of a sudden Grant shows up at a bar, but in fact he's been going to bars looking for you. Accurate?
Yes. Yeah. There's
Why
like
don't
a
you
lot.
tell the story? Because I'm like reading like Reddit shit.
Yeah. It's like all over the place. Like there's way too much to even like share and get into.
But give me what you want to share.
Yeah. The gist of it was like we got back. He had to move all of his stuff out.
Weird.
That like him having a meltdown and like saying he fucked up and whatever. And then when things fizzled out with Danny and I was in Europe, I had like a very brief meltdown and was like reaching out to him. And that's when I found out he was dating or with Natalie. I don't know if they're dating at this point. Then whenever I got back home, he was like fully in a relationship with Natalie. I didn't know where he was living. Apparently he was still living in Florida. He showed up to my house while he was dating Natalie, tried talking to me, and nothing came from that. And then 2 months, I actually reached out to Natalie after that. And I was like, just so you know, Grant was at my apartment, like trying to talk to me. And I just want to like put this out there. She never responded at that point. And then I just kind of never saw him after that for probably like a month and a half, 2 months. And then I ran into him at a bar near my house. I was out with my girlfriends and I was looking at my friend and she looks like she's seen a ghost. Like she looked scared shitless. And I was like, what? And I like turned around and it was Grant. And I was like, oh shit.
Flood of emotions.
Yeah. So we sat there for like hours, just like talking and crying. And he kind of was just saying like, all I do is think about you when I'm with Natalie, which again is a whole other story. That's all just none of it's okay. And then we ended up sharing a kiss at the bar. He went home and broke up with Natalie after that, and then continued to pursue me for a few months. And I was just really not having it. I was like, there's no way I can get past this. But he was very persistent, like always. And then I was going to Bali for a month, and I'm very independent, but it was a 30-hour flight and I was nervous to go. I was doing yoga teacher training there. And so he offered to come with me, and I let him come with to just take me there. So he came for a few days and then flew back. So I was there for a full month. And while I was there, he flew back to my parents in Illinois.
It's okay. It's a lot. It's okay. You're good. I'm with you. It's a crazy move on his part.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll get there. Give me a second.
It's my show. You take as long as you want. We're not editing any of this out.
So basically he went back, flew to my parents. He had a ring. And just apologized to like my friends and family. And then he came back to Florida and met up with like basically all of my best friends and kind of just explained his side of the story and just that he really messed up and the show wasn't real life and how much he loved me. So he kind of got everyone on his side.
Full court press to win you back.
Yeah. So when I got back from Bali, he basically said that if I don't want to be with him, he was just going to move back to North Carolina, which is where his daughter's at. And so I kind of caved and gave him the chance.
And all the people around you were like, give him a chance, give him a chance.
Yeah. I mean, he's very persuasive and he spent several months like really actively pursuing me and trying to show that he changed. And I will give him credit for that. He did put in work and like tried. And we were back together for probably 2 months officially. And the whole time, like he was trying so hard and I was just miserable. Like I was never going to let it go. And it's slow. I was just kind of waiting for him to like mess up again. It was kind of just like I was living in this state of anxiety.
Even if he'd grown past that, which maybe he has, the specter of it is always in your head, which doesn't let you really be in a relationship. You know, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was thinking while you were talking about, Grant and his behavior. And I don't want to let anybody off a hook. I mean, it is what it is. But I think in his heart of hearts, he wants to be that great guy so badly. I think the love he has for you is 100% real. But like I told him at the bonfire, sometimes his actions and his words don't add up. So I stand with you. I stand with him too, but I stand with you in that you realize that even with the wooing and everything that plays into what you really wanted was that for you guys to be forever and ever and happy, that there's still this thing nagging in your head, and then ultimately you stood with yourself, which is really remarkable. And I don't want to be like, you know, patronizing dad, but I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, at some point you kind of said,
yeah, it's slowly small things started happening where I was like watching it just kind of crumble. And so I just snapped and I was like, I can't do this. I had like a full meltdown. And I was like, maybe if the show comes out and I feel differently, like we can touch base later. And then basically since we broke up till now, just like watching his behavior and watching what he's doing and how he's treating me, I just like, I can't help this man. Like there's nothing I can do.
Which is not your job.
No. And like, I don't even want to get into it because anything I say or do, he keeps acting like I'm trying to make it worse for him. And I'm just trying to remain silent on it all. So it doesn't make things worse because I could very much make it worse for him. And I'm choosing not to do that.
I think you both have alluded to receipts and stuff that, if you got into that game.
Which, like, I never wanted to do that. He was trying to basically blackmail me into making a statement that he's a good father, or he was going to release texts, and then he did. But I was like, me getting up and saying you're a good father is not going to help. Like, it's just going to make it look like I'm trying to defend what. And I'm not going to speak on him being a father. Like, that's his situation to save, and I don't have anything to do with it anymore. I love his daughter very much, and I wish that he would get off of social media and not tie this all into it, but I can't control him.
Well, I want to turn the corner and talk less about Grant and more about you for whatever time I have left with you. But I want to just give you a little bit of flowers, as the kids say. I know I just said it completely wrong. But I'm choked up. Relationships are messy. Because at the core of even the most toxic relationships, we give our heart. Even if all the logic says don't do it. And what I am constantly saying on the show, which sometimes gets cut out, is that you just can't control the other person. And the only thing you can do is work on you and redefine what it is you deserve. More importantly, what you've somehow said to yourself you don't deserve, what you're willing to accept, I guess is a better way to say it. And then my hope is that even through the just crazy, stupid, ridiculous part of the show, which is like, people always say to me, why would anybody go on the show? I'm like, I don't fucking know. But once they get there, I got you, and we'll see what we can learn. What I'm saying to you is, what have you learned, if anything, about you? And what does that mean for any future relationship? And are you thinking about that? Like, what, if anything, have you really learned?
I feel like I keep repeating this, but I feel like what I've learned is that I have just always had such a big heart and not realized it. And I give people opportunities when they don't deserve it, when they've showed me who they are. Like, I really, really have tried to hone in on reading people for their actions and not just their words, because I think that was the biggest reason I stayed in this toxic situation. So I don't ever want to put myself there again.
Have you had relationships in the past that mirrored this a little bit?
Not really. Like, sorry, I'm like choked up. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now.
It's okay.
And
I don't mean to choke you up.
Yeah, no, I didn't date anyone for probably like 6-7 years before Grant.
Interesting.
So like, I had relationships and they were serious, but they weren't really a reflection of me as an adult.
That's powerful, Ashley. These relationships that crush our souls, we find ourselves in before we're adults.
Yeah.
I think that is really, really wise, what you just said.
Thank you.
And I wish to God there was a way for us to navigate love without fucking ourselves up in the process. But it's like you just drag yourself across broken glass, unless you're like, I know a couple people who are like high school sweethearts and they stay together forever. And that's, it almost makes me think that arranged marriages have something where like you're told to get married and you haven't had sex, you don't know what love is, and you just grow to love one another and there's just no other option, because the love route is just treacherous. And all we can hope for on the other end is that each of those cuts, each of those smacks in the head, hopefully metaphorically only, makes us go, okay, a new definition. I now know what it is to be in love. So that the next one sticks and sticks in a way that you like come home every day going, I got somebody that just lifts me the fuck up. So that's my wish for you. It's not so much a wish as sort of like a like a prognostication that already is manifesting for you.
We love manifesting.
Yes,
that's
do.
how I got on the show in the first place. I manifested that. I was looking for a sign of if I should be with this man or not, and this came along.
That's also really wise. As I'm going to wrap it up, but that's really, really wise, Ash, because what you're saying is, even in the worst situations, you have a role in it. That the relationships we're in, toxic or healthy, we to some degree manifested because we held ourselves in a place where we thought that was okay. And so here I am preaching. I don't mean to do that. I just want to say to you, outside and in, outside you're ridiculous. My wife can't stop talking about how beautiful you are. I, of course, don't comment because I don't want her to be uptight. But you know that. But the inside of you, which at first was so guarded, is really so smart, vulnerable, but strong. And I see it, and I adore it. And listen, I know it's so stupid, but it's just a show. We spent minutes together, not hours. But if you ever need anything, like, I don't... What?
Got me crying again.
Yeah, well, it seems to be a thing I do. It's not on purpose, but I get choked up. I hold you guys in a place that's far deeper than you hold me. I'm just like this dude who shows up and just fucks you up. It's not my intention. So I hope that, and thank you for coming on the show. And I just want to say to you, look, if there's any comfort I could ever provide you, or friendship or whatever, or never, I'm here. And
I appreciate it.
And I hold you in high esteem. I think you've said some really wise stuff, and I think you're on the path to being not just a powerful woman, but such a beacon for a lot of women in a very similar situation. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Any last things you say before you hang up and go, he fucking did it again and made me cry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, seriously, I was trying to hold it together. No, just thank you so much for having me, and it was good to reconnect and not be in a traumatic environment.
The environment you're in, you've created, which seems peaceful and full and exciting and full of possibility, and I'm all for that, okay? So, hey, go live your life, and I look forward to seeing updates. I may ask you to come back on the show at some point if you're down.
Anytime.
You're like going, perfect. Anyway, thanks again. I don't want to say I love you, but I got love for you. All right. All those things. All those things. All right. And I'll be stalking you on Instagram just to make sure you're okay. So
I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
You are okay. You're amazing. All right. I'm done gushing. And maybe I'll cry a little bit, but it may have nothing to do with you. I just could use one. So anyway, thanks a lot. And I know, let me just wrap it up with you guys. Hey, thank you guys for listening. By the way, lots of new subscribers because the show's on the air. So thank you and welcome. And I wish you could, I come from live shows, so I wish you could just applaud and say thank you to Ashley for being so open and kind and great. So anyway, Ashley, all my love. You guys, thank you for watching. I'm out. I'll see you soon. Thanks. I don't ever know how to end this.